Thank Irving School for hosting this month's edition of Mayor's Night Out. In particular, I want to thank Renee Robinson, the Irving Elementary School principal. Can we give her a big round of applause, everybody? We'll try not to make a mess of the place, okay? Thank you. I also want to introduce, as we always do before every Mayor's Night Out, 2nd District Councilman, the host Councilman, Councilman Pete Torres. Okay.
Good evening, everyone. We got a lot of things going on in the 2nd District, as you're probably aware. I brought some pictures of the railroad, that South Shore. And what do you call that? Westgate railroad. So if you want to look at a artist's rendition of what they think it's going to look like. We got, of course, Chicago Avenue is going to be busy here for the next year and a half. Is that right, Jonathan? And they're just working on the south side of the street now, and that's going to be at least 3 or 4 months. And then they're going to start on the north side. I got the streets that are going to get lighted. If any of you want to know if your street is on, or if you want to get it on the list, we get our share of the gaming money that we use for that. So that we're just waiting on the contractors to get going on that. And other than that, if you have any questions, we're doing some demolitions in this area, of course. And throughout the 2nd District, we got some other projects going on. There are some neighborhoods that have certain concerns that I've been meeting with and going to continue to meet with as they bring whatever situations they have. But other than that, we're going to keep plugging along and getting things done in the 2nd District. One big project that's going on, priority of mine and some other people in the district, were the parks. So we're going to give Columbia Park this year, hopefully starting around August, a good facelift where we're going to get a walking path done on it and add some additional playground equipment and fix the volleyball court and the basketball court. And hopefully, if we have enough money, I thank the mayor now because he contributed a good share of the money to it. We put our gaming monies together for that. And next year, hopefully, in the fall, we're going to start planning for Irving Park. Get the same thing, a walking path, some additional playground equipment, and some other things going. So things are going to be happening here in the 2nd District. Thank you for your attendance tonight. We understand we got a good crowd, and turn it back to the mayor.
Thanks, Councilman. All right, let's go ahead and introduce Donna Muda, Special Events Coordinator for the City of Hammond.
Good evening, everybody.
Hey, Donna. We'll go ahead and introduce the department heads as we do every Mayor's Night.
Chris Sanders, Leland.
Marty Willis, Hammond Sanitary District.
Yes, Vince Remains. Dennis Radowski, United Neighborhood League.
Brian Poland, City Planning.
Ron Novak, Environmental Management. Kurt Cook, Building.
John Doty, Police Department. Mark McLaughlin, Chief of Staff.
African Department of Economic Development.
Adam Kaczynski, Port Authority.
Chris Cantor, Law Department. Heather Rice, Door.
Phil Taylor, Planning and Development. Mark Hines, Parks and Recreation.
Sharon Daniels, Personnel, College Fund.
Where's the Hampton Water?
Chris Campbell, Information Technology.
There's no reporter here.
Kevin Martin, Fire Department.
Howard Baylor, Code Enforcement.
Philip Green, Construction Firm.
Lawrence Brown, Public Works.
Okay, I want to remind you, Mayor's Night Out is generated by questions. Where's our table at today? Oh, look at Jill over there. We have two tables going right now. We have Eva and Jill. If you have a written question, please submit it to them. And then it goes to Donna, and Donna will ask the question. And let's say, for instance, the topic is pools. I know is one of the questions today. If you have a follow-up question, please raise your hand and we'll talk about it at that point. But if we're talking about pools and you raise your hand and you say, hey, let's talk about buses now, we would ask that you submit another question on buses in that case. So we try to stay on topic. But if you have a question about the topic we're talking about, just raise your hand. Donna will come around. I want to remind you this is being taped live, right, on Go Hammond TV. It's also archived on Go Hammond TV, so if you want to watch it again. So anyway, let's go ahead and start Mayor's Night Out. I want to thank you all for coming out.
Good evening, Mayor. Our first one is engineering-ish. On 177th River Drive, is the bike path, where the bike path is, will the street be paved so that the people are not driving on the wrong side of the street?
177th and River Drive, where the bike path is.
Yes.
You mean like along the river?
No, not along the river. Between the expressway, Reapers Road,
Uh-huh.
you have all of that. You have Reapers Road there,
Right.
all of that.
Right.
You put the cones up.
I thought wasn't there a new bike trail built right behind that?
It's behind
Right,
it,
right.
but in front of it is where you can enter on. Like, we can enter onto it,
Okay.
okay? And there's cones put up, white cones that you won't hit all the time, because that road is so narrow, it's never been paved.
Right.
So you basically have a one-lane road. Who goes first? If I'm going westbound, I'm going through all the gravel or letting the bikers all
Okay.
get onto the path.
Okay.
That path is used. I've used it.
Who's here on behalf of engineering? Is Gordish here? Hey, Jonathan, what's up?
Hey, how's it going?
You didn't get in the line.
Sorry.
Jonathan's I'm here on behalf of the engineering department. Did you hear the question, Jonathan?
Yeah, I'm not too familiar with it, so I will investigate it.
It was dug up by the water department.
Oh, then that's probably why you're hearing.
Oh, look at that. I just got a text from the engineer. He must be watching it live right now. He said the water department needs to fix the ballards at 177th. Where's the water department? Hey, Ed. Just got thrown under a bus. Technology. It's like, what? It's his fault, ma'am. Okay.
Well, we've been waiting for the street to be fixed for months. We've been waiting.
Did you hear about the question, Ed? It's 177th in front of Reapers Row. It's all gravelled out right now.
We replaced some water mains on 177, and I'm sure the restoration is done, but I'm not quite sure we're going to pave the whole street. I mean, we will pave whatever we excavated,
Right.
and that will be done, probably in the next couple of weeks.
All right, do me a favor, Jonathan, put it on the radar at engineering so we figure out what's going on over there. All right, it sounds like we know what the basic issue is. It's a water issue. And engineering knows about it. I appreciate the question. Could you put Dean Button's name
Yes, sir.
on that question? We'll follow it up after.
Because I know they dug the water department dug in front of our house.
Yes, ma'am.
Basically, they dug in front of us, and they paved that. They didn't pave in the circle there, in the little cul-de-sac.
Mhm.
They decided to just leave that as a little.
And it changed since the work was done. Water department basically dug everything up and they only patched the part, you're saying?
They paved it,
Okay.
okay, on Garfield, they paved it. You go to the little circle, that is not paved.
Okay. We'll follow it up, ma'am.
Go down 177th, that is totally undone.
Okay.
That whole street needs to really be paved.
You got this, Jonathan? And then we'll follow it up with the question. So I know Dean's watching it on Go Hammond TV right now, so we'll make sure we follow this up after, ma'am. But it sounds to me like it's a water department issue. They fixed something and it hasn't been fixed to the standards you expect, and we'll follow it up and see if engineering agrees.
Is that road city road?
77th, yeah.
Then they haven't paved anything. You know, they only go, you guys only go to like Harrison, and then they stop.
Okay.
They
Well, we'll
don't
follow it
go
up, ma'am, after.
fully down River Drive.
I know what you're talking about. I go over there on my bike all the time, so All right, thank you for the question. Anybody else have any questions about that? Dave, in the back, look at that.
177, Forsyth Kelly was up there last week, measuring, everything that was replaced by the water department. They got work dates on it, and they'll probably start it next week.
Okay. Sounds to me like we're on top of it. But the engineer is aware of it, he's texting me as we speak, and we're gonna make sure he gets this question, okay? Thanks, ma'am. And we do this every month. Well, I think we have a couple months off because summer's coming, but I'm on the radio every Friday morning, WJLB, you know where to find me. So if this isn't happening, please stay on. Squeaky wheel gets the grease. It's a famous rule about government, and it works, okay? Okay, thank you. All right, Donna.
Next up, in regard to bike trails still, is the train actually being put in the right, is the train actually being put back where the bike path was just put in?
Yeah, but not the bridge. They're gonna relocate the bike path, from what I understand. Brian's here, right? Brian, grab the microphone so you can help me out with this. We're talking about the Monon Bike Trail. The bike path is really cheap in the overall scheme of things, okay? The bike trail bridge is not cheap in the overall scheme of things. And we made sure we built the bike path bridge that it was gonna peacefully coexist if the Westlake extension ever happened. Do you agree with that statement, Brian?
Yeah, I mean,
This is our city planner, by the way.
yes, the bike path is currently on the west side of where the tracks are. And so that will, by alignment, you're gonna have where the track right away is, the trail is primarily on the west side where the tracks are. If there needs to be any adjustments, that will be, in that final engineering design that Nikki is working on. We've got some preliminary ideas, there may be a couple of adjustments just because of drainage issues and things like that. We don't have the final design of that. The bridge that crosses the Little Cal River, that's where the trail is right now. They want to reuse the structure of that to put the train on, and they construct a new bridge to the west of that.
So there you go. If anybody has any follow-up questions about that, this would be the time to take it. The Westlake expansion is not guaranteed at this point. It's being pushed heavily by Congressman Pete Visclosky, the local media, the downstate Republican supermajority. City of Hammond has given nothing at this point to this project. We've passed a resolution that said it's important for us that the Gateway Station's included in this. It's important for us that the maintenance facility is located in the city of Hammond. And it's important for us for you to work with us on any potential station at 173rd and the Monon, basically. At this point, Congressman's lobbying us hard to put in 33% of our CDIP money, which is around $900,000 a year, which is $27 million over 30 years, which is an enormous amount of money. We haven't committed to that yet. We're one of the few cities that has not committed at this point. So that's the status of the project as it speaks. Donald Trump zeroed out the budget for new starts. I'm being told that's not a big deal, but it seems like a big deal to me. Obviously, if the federal money's not there, this project's not happening. So there's huge question marks on this project, but make no mistake about it. The pressure is on constantly. The Times is constantly pressuring. The local media is constantly pressuring. The governor's pressuring. Congressman's pressuring. Everybody's pushing this project. Hammond's been one of the lone resistors at this point. And, you know, they don't exactly pat us on the back for it, so I think the residents do, but, so, yes ma'am.
Only because I live by this, where they plan on putting this in. That's the only reason, is I live by this.
By what, which station?
By where they plan on putting this all in. Okay?
So you live
It's
on-
my backyard. It's
Okay.
basically my backyard.
Okay,
Okay?
so you live on Harrison?
I live on Garfield.
Garfield, okay,
One more over.
okay,
Garfield.
all right,
And so the river is my backyard.
okay,
More or less.
all right,
Okay, and so they plan on putting this in where that bike path, well, just west of it, of that bike path that they just put in,
yeah. But we put it in the bike path,
where the bike path was just put in.
right.
And that's being used by everyone. And we were promised that every tree that came down, they were gonna put up a brand new tree, which was never done. So what is this gonna do then? They're gonna take properties away, part of our property.
They're not gonna take properties from where you live.
The way this reads right now, that we got in the mail, it reads that properties will be bought out.
Not where you live.
So
No,
it
ma'am.
will be on the Munster side.
No, it'll be, I'm not worried about Munster, it's not my job.
No.
Okay.
I'm saying.
No, but I don't even think about Munster, I think about Hammond, okay?
Right.
I try not to think about any other city, this is my job. I can tell you in Hammond, homes will be purchased if this project happens in the area around the Gateway Station, which is like Gosselin, Sheffield, Brunswick, that area up there.
Right.
It would be-
They're running into Munster Bridge Road.
Well, yeah, but that's outside of Hammond, that's where I shut off. I'm all over the city, and then once it leaves the city, it's not my problem, it's somebody else's problem. So I'm focusing on what I could do in Hammond. But I can tell you where you live, you're not in danger of any acquisition of eminent domain where you live.
I mean,
Right, there is a project going on in your neighborhood, it has nothing to do with the train though, it has to do with Linden, 7500, the west side of Linden. Those homes are being bought by the Hammond Sanitary District for a freshwater storage area, okay? But that's the whole separate project. There's no eminent domain, it's gonna be required for the station in South Hammond at this point. Brian?
There's no houses that are going to be bought. At 173rd, there's where the old CSX yards were. That property or portions of that will be acquired for the station itself in the parking lot. But they're not going to take any of the houses that are on Harrison or at Garfield.
at 177. We're talking 177.
Right, I mean, yeah, you know where the water tank is?
Yeah.
Okay, so that property that's kind of to the west of it, in between that and the tracks, that area would have to be taken there for the parking lot,
But no houses.
but no houses.
Right, okay. South Shore questions. This is a hot topic. Not so hot in Hammond, because it seems like a lot of the residents support the position the city council and the mayor took. Not a lot of people in the media agree with this position, but yes.
I just want to mention too, tomorrow night is the discussion on the TOD, the last public hearing for the TOD. It'll be at, Kenwood School.
Okay.
Starting at 6 o'clock.
Thanks, Brent.
to 8.
Okay. And we, by the way, these sessions aren't put on by the city of Hammond. They're put on by NICD, RDA. I think NERC might be involved in these as well.
Primarily just RDA.
RDA. But these are sessions, and quite frankly, I haven't gone to them once myself. Because if they're going to talk to somebody about taking their property and they don't know for sure if that project's going forward, I'm not showing up to that meeting. Okay? Until they know for sure that this project's going to happen, that's when they'll for sure get our diligent support. But at this point, there's huge red flags all over it. I think the congressman wants everybody to believe this thing is just sailing along, but by all appearances, it's not. Anybody have any questions on South Shore expansion? The big areas of our city that will be primarily impacted by this is obviously the Gateway Station area. OK Champion, which is basically at the end of Hoffman and Sheffield. That plant over there, which is abandoned at this point, will be turned into a rail facility, which is going to generate jobs, decent paying jobs. You know, I think that's a positive for our city. And then really, quite frankly, the South Hammond Station, I don't even really care if it's there or not. It's really being pushed more by the agenda of movers and shakers of Northwest Indiana. It really isn't being pushed by the councilman in the 4th District, I don't believe. And it's not being pushed by the mayor. I don't really care if it's there, I'll be honest with you. I think it's completely unnecessary personally, and it could probably save them a couple bucks. So if I had my druthers, we'd have the Gateway Station, we'd shut down our other station, we'd have one station in Hammond, one rail facility, and we'd save probably $50 million. But they don't listen to us about these things, so. I think if there's supposed to be a second station, it should probably be in downtown. I personally think that, because Gateway is about a mile north of downtown. But if there's no questions on the South Shore, I'm not gonna beg for them. I think this shows you, quite frankly, it's funny. A lot of people are trying to make this South Shore thing like it's the next thing coming, and I just don't really find a lot of excitement for it. And I know that they're asking for $27 million, and that scares me. So, anyway, let's move on, Donna.
Still bike trail related, Mayor.
Sure.
Will there be any patrols this spring and summer for the bike path?
Great question. I could tell you the mayor constantly patrols the bike trails, but I don't know if I'm gonna be able to save anybody if something happens, so we'll pass that one off to the chief of police. What do you think, chief?
Well, we do,
No.
Okay, we do, all the parks start early, every summer, already started. That's where the most people are. The bike paths, most of the parts of the bike path can be accessed and watched by our patrolmen and Henry units from the vehicles. We do so vigilantly. We don't have dedicated
Thanks, Chief. Any follow-ups on that? Bike path? Security? This is a big deal down in Indy where they've had major problems on the bike trails. I mean, thankfully, we haven't had these problems in Hammond. I'm on the bike trails all the time. I've never felt unsafe in any situation. And I'm riding late at night, early morning. During the daytime, you see everybody. I mean, so if something happens, somebody's gonna be right behind you. They're pretty actively used. Questions about the bike path? Great. Donna, let's keep rolling.
And Chief, while you have the mic, can all the stray cats be picked up without a cost to us?
Stray cats.
Well, we just had a call today. We went to a house, and unfortunately, somebody passed away, and I heard my guys go on for about a half hour. Who was going to help the case? And they were talking back and forth to dispatch, and was very concerned by the officers over the cats. And Animal Control did come out and house them and get them temporarily till a family member would get there. So no rate cost to the city at all. However, anytime Animal Control takes an animal, there's a cost. You know, there's medication, housing, food, relocating them. We can't take any animal away without a cost to our budget, unfortunately. So, other than education, you know, neutering, doing what you're supposed to do with your pets. Unfortunately, some homeowners are negligent, some are wild, but if you call, we'll do our best to take care of it. And animal control is not a great part of the police department's budget, I assure you. We don't have to throw money at it, but I think we do a pretty good job of cleaning up.
Thanks. Follow-up questions? Guy?
They charge $25 a cage if we want to pick up any cats.
That's totally refunded then to you once the cage is returned.
Once the cage is returned, since we were not explaining that.
It's a
at
deposit.
all.
Right.
And we're like, we have so many feral cats, we can't get the people to stop feeding them. They've been out several times, I know, Animal Control's been out. They've dug up $70 worth of flowers at my house. They dug up the neighbor's flowers. We just didn't know, where else can we go with them? What do you do? You know, the people just keep feeding them.
Okay.
What they say about cats, if you feed them, they'll come back. And I know if you call us, the animal control is run by the police department, and I'm glad to hear that if you call us, we do respond, and we always will. We'll do the best we can to help you out.
Yeah, they've been ticketed, but it doesn't work.
You're in an area where there's woods all over, and that doesn't help. We're looking by our resources at all.
All right, yeah, ma'am. Got a follow-up question? Mm-hmm. Where's that? Where's that? Oh, hey. She's not in her normal spot.
Right, you can hear this first word. I'm every year.
All right, thank you. All right, let's move on.
Okay, Mayor. Several things just popped up in regards to police. Some of the residents would like to know if they can have more police presence in this district.
We have regular beats across the entire city, and you know we've had the same beats for quite a while now. Plus, we have an extra unit we call the Henry Unit that patrols our city constantly. Well, during that peak times. So, Chief, we get asked this question a lot. What do you have to say in response to that?
I do believe that the city is well patrolled. As the mayor pointed out, we have the Henry units every evening. We have 2 shifts come on, and they're lined up throughout the city. We also have the gang unit. We also have a separate traffic unit. We have narcotics to talk about at all times. If you're having a specific problem that needs addressed, please put that information to us so we can address that. But I believe police response to the city is evenly based, and we have more, I assure you, I know what the other cities have on their streets. And on average, we have about 19 to 23 officers on the street at any given time on the afternoon or midnight shift. We probably have about 45 or so, because everybody's working during the day. Even I'm driving around during the day, officers on that's adequate for the city of Sunday, and it's more than most cities larger than us geographically. We are the largest populated city, but I know we have a sister city next to us. We probably have 3 times as many officers on the street that they do. We have more geographic area than we do.
They have twice as much geographical area as we do. But we like to make Hammond the type of city that bad guys are afraid to, commit crimes in. And we're going to go into a story in a second about a traffic stop that resulted lately from the LPR cameras. Mr. Buck's got a question first, though.
Yes, on Sherman Street, residents aren't seeing enough policemen over there. They have drug dealers on the street. They're using vacant houses to stash their drugs. So it's coming to their house, finding in their houses.
Right. Okay.
So we need more police over there to watch that. We have people sitting on the street just drinking all day, and people can't let their kids come out and play because the older guys sitting in the middle of the sidewalk drinking and fussing and cussing. Police ride by like, hey,
Right.
that's what we see. There's a parent there. Her child lives a few doors from there. Can't go out. Police are waving them. They have a backyard. Go to your backyard. And what image are you showing our young men, our young women, if you just sit there?
Did you write that on the questionnaire? So we have you followed this up? Have you called the police department with this type of information?
Piggyback off what he said, I called the police. I said 1439 Sherman, next to me is a vacant lot. It completely has an entire party, and some of that party trickled to my lawn. It drove me bananas.
Mm-hmm.
For me to sit there and hear all that loud noise so early in the morning, and like you said, with the drinking, glass bottles being broken.
Okay.
Can't walking on the sidewalk.
What's the address on that?
1439 Sherman.
We got that? 1439 Sherman?
I called the police, they came out, and I sat and watched the police because they were wrong up with them, or either just know them for something, do this, and keep going. Maybe have a conversation with 1 or 2, and they're not broken up. You're sitting on the city sidewalk, and all this is going on. Like you said, with the police, I've been there in Indiana and New Hammond, and only been a resident for about almost 3 years. I can count on one hand how many times I've seen a police car come through. It's maybe once a month, every other month.
Okay. I know for a fact I was on Sherman with a whole bunch of police officers one day when we had a bad situation occur over there. But
That was probably just
okay. All right. So basically, Sherman Street feels like they're being ignored by the Hammond Police Department, right? Okay.
The amount of crime that was there, when they were growing up, and 4 years ago, 5 years ago, it seems like it's heading back towards that. We don't do something now, it's not police now, we're heading back towards that way.
So basically, I'm hearing that they think Hammond's slipping, and in particular, their neighborhood's slipping, and the police are ignoring their block.
I think Sherman Street has been kind of an ebb and flow neighborhood throughout the years. It's had peaks and valleys. I know Paul where he lives. We've spent a great deal of resources there at certain times, cleaning it up, drug raids, so on and so forth. It's very quiet. I know some of the houses you're talking about, I know there's a group of elderly gentlemen. I've never seen them on the street, but I've been out and talked to them myself out there, and they haven't had any drink, but they've been inside of their yard, and they're very polite and very nice. Just having a conversation with them, not yelling, and most of them are in their 60s, maybe older, some of them. Okay. I promise you I'll pass this down to the guys from Extra Patrols. I know we were there a lot today. I was telling the councilman when I came in. He said there's been speeding on the street, and I know it's a
I didn't hear the police chief say that, ma'am. I didn't hear him say that.
He said that they was drinking and he was saying, okay, and, 60.
No, I said I made contact with some elderly gentlemen who were inside their yard, sitting on their stairwell, inside their fenced area, having a drink, not knowing the people. And I was doing basically a community fair saying, where I stopped saying, hey, how you guys doing? We were not hurting anybody, and I just wanted to say hi.
That's all right.
So I do see that. I don't think there's anything wrong with that. I was sitting on my stairs, having an alcohol beverage in the evening, not bothering anybody.
I mean, if they wanted to get high and not bothering anybody.
I didn't.
He didn't say get high, ma'am.
I said they
I'm
were
asking
drinking.
you a question, is it okay?
All right, listen.
But that's what
We get the point. Okay, thank you. All right, Sherman Street's upset. They feel like they're being ignored by the police department. I think we get it, Paul. I mean, you have something you really want to add, or?
Yeah. And I understand what you're saying, you're sitting in your dog run. And you know where I work with kids every day, all day.
As do I.
And
I just left working with kids, 11-year-olds, from Hammond, from all over.
so if you could talk to the guys and ask them to just move into their backyard, so the kids can come down the street and play. You know what I'm saying? Just ask them if they can come into their backyard. And don't give the kids that.
Okay, well, anyway, we appreciate it. Anybody want to add it to anything to the Sherman Street situation?
I have a thing that I put in if you want it to be separate, but I tie in with that.
Okay, sure. You want to go ahead and bring it up? Which one is it? We'll go ahead and read that question off right now.
1440 Sherman. Mother's Day. My boyfriend's Escalade 2006 Cadillac EXT was demolished by a vehicle that was drunk at 11:35 in the evening. Your police department sucks.
All right.
I'm sorry, let me get this out.
No, I don't really want you to get it up. No, you mean,
And I'm sorry, I don't know you, and I would be
have you lived in Hammond your whole life, ma'am? Have you?
I've lived in the south suburbs all my life. I've lived here from 2009 to 2010.
Right.
I went to the west side of Chicago before I came back here 2 years ago.
Okay.
So I'm just saying, I'm probably the most vocal to 911 in your system.
Good.
Okay?
That's why we have
I
it.
know some of the officers that were on the scene because I was the waitress at the wheel when I made it out.
Mm-hmm.
Now I waitress somewhere else. My issue is this is my 5-year-old.
Mm-hmm.
She was out playing today with her son and I don't know, 4 or 5 other kids from down the street. I made my home this summer, this spring, a safe haven yard for them to go to, so they don't have to worry about it. So they're there playing in the yard where I can see them. I'm eating up for dinner. I can see them through my window. Do you know I heard an engine rev down the block where what is that? What is the name of that street? Berkeley. Revved his engine from that direction. I had toe surgery on Thursday. That's why I didn't make it out Saturday to your meeting. And I would have loved to attend there Saturday, wherever you're the councilman, whatever. I would have loved to, I was in so much pain. So anyway, my kids are playing, I hear this van go. I saw the van. I got to that front porch. I saw it go to the dead end, and I knew it. My phone was all on the charger. By the time I got my kid settled with her lunch, dinner, whatever, and got my phone turned on to call to make a report to 911, because I know that's the proper thing to do because I'm 43 years old. I was sitting on my porch with my foot up, this thing slowly rolls down my street, and I have 7 children in my yard. I asked him to slow his vehicle down. That's all I said from my front porch. You know that man got out of his vehicle and threatened my life? And this Gigi and this lady weren't standing there, I probably would have gotten it. But I stayed on my front. And I would like to file harassment charges, she got played. So I didn't have time to do nothing because this man wanted to speed down the street again. And the last time he did, he took out my old man's $30,000 vehicle. Today, what freaks me out, because you never know, there's many, someone took out the vehicle that was now paralyzed, and he was drunk. My old man's leaving going back to Illinois. I'm staying here. I don't feel safe on Sherman, sir. And I want to stay here. I want to stay planted because I know Hammond's good. So I hit that car. The first thing I did, where's my kid? What if he loses control? Right out of that bump. That bump where that Park Avenue lost control and flew into my old man's Escalade. Flew. Because my Escalade, picture it this way. It was I
Okay.
wish I could come on Saturday. My old man is leaving, he is so disgusted, because there's a lot of traffic on that street. So when I got up to stand up for myself, I was told you're a woman, you have no business talking to me. I said, excuse me, sir, that's my child, that's her child, and all these other children don't need you, who's 40 years old, driving like you just got out of driver's ed.
All right. Thank you, ma'am. I'm sorry about that.
Because I need to figure out what to do about the threat of my life, and I don't have to save my insurance. So if I have retaliation, remember my face.
Yes, ma'am.
Hi, I live at 1431 Sherman. And some of us, we've been talking amongst ourselves, and we were wondering if we could get some signs up, slow children at play. We had a question about speed bumps. We told that they're not.
No, they're not legal in Indiana, right?
Okay.
Right.
So it's possible children at play. I know.
Hey, Johnny, you getting this?
That there's a deaf child.
We could do this. That's easy. That's a good idea.
That may help.
Okay. I got Johnny. Could you follow that up, please? This is Johnny Perez. Johnny, could you stand up and show yourself? Johnny's the assistant Department of Public Works, and he can get this stuff done easy. So, sounds to me like these signs would do well up and down Sherman. Like maybe a couple on each side. Okay.
This may be asking too much, but those signs do bring awareness that there are children at play.
Yes, ma'am.
But in addition, with an officer properly stating between the beginning of 1400 and the end of 1300, right there where the railroad track sits, because there's no stop sign there to put a break into there to pick up from 1200 to 1300 for your speed straight through. And they can pick up speed anywhere from 40 to 50 miles per hour. There's no break between 1300 to 1400 to slow them down. So
Okay.
there's an officer there to police their speeding, that's money for the city, the speeding ticket,
Yes, ma'am.
and it saves lives.
Okay. Appreciate it. Councilman Higgs, you have something you want to add?
Just on that portion of the street, I know, I hear what you're saying, but the portion of the street is like asphalt, isn't it?
They don't care. They go around it.
It's the badges that they got.
Yes. And they're speeding over it, and they're going around it. There was one very steep pole, and that the city recently replaced that. They filled that the little hole, and now the, little deep.
All right, I'm gonna move past, we try not to like bog down on one issue for the whole mayor's night, so I'm gonna call it, we get the point, I appreciate the input. Police department's definitely taking notice, Public Works is taking notice, I know that inspections department is taking notice. Sounds like we got some work to do on Sherman to make the neighbors feel safer. Yeah, Johnny?
Mayor, can I add something?
Sure.
Normally when I go to work every day, I always drive around that section because we have people illegally dumping and that one-sided alley, I don't know, we can clean it this week, we go back and clean it worse. And that's why I give 2 hours of the day, hopefully that I see somebody to actually get a license plate. So I encourage everybody that if you see somebody that's dumping, please give the license plate. If we be able to stop together, like the chief said, they can be everywhere, but we can become their eyes and voice and help officers.
Just take a picture of it and forward it to us. If you can get like a 10-second clip of them dumping stuff, but most importantly, right out your front window, if you can get license plate or something like that, so. Hammond 311, thank you. So, yes ma'am.
When it rains, the water comes in my yard like a river. It comes off the street. The street is slanted. And so is the back alley in my house. And my basement is full of water.
Mm-hmm.
In front of the yard, in front of the house too, it's full of water.
Okay.
And they need to check the sewer to put something in there to make it level.
Jack?
What's that address?
1536 Summer.
1536 Summer?
Yes. And 1474. 1474.
Okay.
Well,
1474. Summer.
The whole street is having a problem.
Oh, street,
Yeah,
yeah,
But that- that-
What's wrong with the street there is the sewer lines, they can think about it.
No, the problem,
That's part of it. They need one.
that's gonna be on the engineering, because there is no drain structures on that street. That street is pitched from the ground going to the curb lines. So,
They fixed some street, but they fixed it, they started from, Indianapolis down to Hunt Road, they stopped there. And the rest of it, they didn't try to fix it.
Yes, ma'am.
I'm on 1431 Sherman Street. Now, I am 57 years old, and I can remember as far back from 7 years old up until now. Sherman Street has been flooding, and now it is totally out of control. This last heavy rain that we had, I had a river in my backyard, and when NIPSCO came out, the question was, what's going on? Why is all that water coming from the alley? It was like the water comes up so high, it start coming up to the main floor, to the breaker box on the wall. And when it just started, it's been going on for years. And then the city engineers, they're looking at it, we're working on the sewers, whatever. It's been 50 years, and they still haven't been able to get this together. How much mold can the house have in it? How much bleach can we use to clean our wall?
Mhm.
And I'm serious. I mean, we matter over there. Right now, we have standing water in the alley where, 3 weeks ago or whatever, where it rained, stacked that water just sitting there. The ducks came out and started swimming in the water. Coming off the railroad tracks or something. But our sewage, I mean, come on, can somebody, and then they tell us.
That's not sewage. It's it's stormwater, but.
It's a major problem, and it's still 50 years, it's still going on. Can we get some type of relief?
Well, I mean, to a certain extent, we have gaming revenue that goes to each district every year, okay? And the district council person decides how that revenue is going to be spent. Quite frankly, we approve the projects, but, each district council person is responsible for how that money is spent in their district, so.
We were allocated some money from the,
You're allocated money every single year.
okay, so what happens to us when
It's up to the district councilman, and he works with the engineering department and decides how that money is going to be spent. So like, if your councilman is here, and he is right now, and he's listening, right, and he's listening to what's going on, so. Well, first off, engineering's taking notes, sanitary district's taking notes about the crime issues. You guys got our attention, so there will be follow-up, okay? Jonathan's handing you his card right now. So I'm done with this issue, okay? This isn't a mayor's night out, it's not about one street and one block, okay? So we get the point. How many times you spoke already, ma'am?
I haven't.
Okay,
Once.
okay.
The street is messed up also, it's bumpy and lumpy, and we would like it to be smoothed out, and we would like some of that money that's going in second district, coming out.
I understand.
Simple as that. Why would that street be messed up that long? Everybody looked at it, so it should have been fixed.
Councilman Pete hasn't been the councilman the whole time either. It goes back to the councilman before that. And, we've had gaming revenue come in the city since 1994, and it's been spread around to a great extent. Quite frankly, my father was the mayor in the 1980s, and the whole city was underwater when we had any type of rain, and for the most part, that's gone away. Sounds to me like it hasn't gone away on your block, and I think you guys have... Okay, well, you guys are making a very good point.
Come here, don't act like we can't talk, because I haven't said anything.
Ma'am, the group has been speaking for the last 15 minutes. I agree. That's why we do this. Okay. Yeah. Okay.
The 14, 13, and 1200 blocks, the areas that you see that are cut off the street, I personally made those cuts 8 years ago, making the sewer repairs in that area. I did talk with Pete a couple days ago about the situation. He thought there was another sewer problem. I told him no. I said I know for a fact that we made all those repairs. The street's fine, except for the blacktop. I did talk with Pete about that, and he was looking into that.
Councilman Torres.
Mr. Torres.
Yeah, Councilman Torres.
Yeah, can I say something? Oh, okay.
Also, I will, on the 14, 13, and 1200, I will have a truck out there tomorrow to make sure everything is completely cleaned up, the sewer main's clean, all the drainage structures.
Councilman Torres?
Okay, I also led to believe
What's up?
that was a sewer problem. and Jack, a couple of days ago, tells me it's not. So we're gonna work on at least the 1400 block this year, see if we can get that paid. The other issues, I'm gonna invite all these gentlemen to our June 7th meeting we got next week. And during the week, I know Juan Serrano was out there looking at Miss Jackson's house, but visually we couldn't see anything. You happened not to be there, so we're going to be there. Tomorrow we'll be there in the morning. Okay. And these issues were brought to my attention last Saturday when we met, and been working on them. And we'll continue to work on them, all right, one by one.
And I want to point out, I've been mayor for 14 years, and I mean, you guys make quite the impression. But I've been 14 times I've been in the 2nd district. I don't remember this issue coming up before. So, but we will work hard to try to fix your problems. So I'm going to go on to the written questions for the next one. So Donna?
Okay, Mayor, this one's from the principal. With the work on Chicago Avenue, when it begins, which I think it has today, Oak Avenue and Pine Avenue have to turn into a two-way. Can there be someone to help with traffic control from 8 to 9:30 and 3 to 3:30 until school at Fountainwood?
Chief? First off, the Chicago Avenue project goes through the heart of the 2nd district. It's like, at the end of the day, like a $30 million project. It's going to result in new sidewalks, new streets, from the East Chicago border all the way to the Illinois border. It's going to go up on Sheffield. There's going to be a roundabout, and it's going to merge into the Gosselin project, which we were talking about earlier, which is also requiring the use of eminent domain on the south side of Gosselin. It's a major project. With City Hammond controls the project, we've got funding for most of it lined up already. We're started from the east to go through the 2nd district first, and we're working our way west. So, Chief? Sounds like Irving principal is concerned about traffic control in school.
For specifically the school, we can definitely try to get EMA over here to help out. I'll contact the Lieutenant McCary about that, and we can try to do some enforcement also. We can also have the engineer reach out to the construction company because they are required to have flagging and control the traffic through certain areas. That's primarily their responsibility. However, because it's a school, we have an extra concern ourselves also, and that's what EMA is for, so I'll make sure that happens.
Okay. Any other questions on that project? Yeah.
Is it possible to open up Columbia on Chicago there? To get it done quicker, as you're proceeding east?
I'm not the engineer. I don't make the plans which streets are shut down, and they have civil engineers, they have professional degrees that do these types of things. They know how long it's supposed to take. My job is to get the money for the project and make it happen, and that's hard enough in itself. I leave it to the experts, and I really wish Dean, our civil engineer, was here, because he'd be able to tell you why it's shut down and what the rationale was, but...
I'm not asking you why it's shut down, I'm just wondering, you can't answer the question, right?
No, I can't.
The question was, not why, but could we open up Columbia first, as opposed to, instead of having to go all the way down, I don't know how far east or how far west, just to go proceed south from the 1st district. We're blocked off there.
Okay. Yeah. Jonathan.
They're starting from Columbia going to Calumet. They're trying to get that section done first, so that when they go to White Oak, all that is completed.
Any ETA on that?
Best I can tell you, they're going to do half the street at a time. Right. So ideally, November, everything will be done from Columbia to Calumet, everything. But then they're going to start from Columbia to White Oak, but then Columbia should have some traffic. Sorry for the convenience.
No, it's just not.
There's a lot of utility work in that area.
Something will be done in the weekend, that's all. I don't see any convenience. If something could be done, we can do it, that's all.
Any other questions about Chicago Avenue, Gosselin project? All right, Donna.
Mayor, what is the law about riding mini bikes up and down the residential streets? Police officer said it was okay as long as he stayed on our street.
I always thought it was illegal. Chief?
It's illegal. It is prohibited. We can't do that. Indiana has actually tightened their laws to, anything on the street has to have a license now. So ATVs, mini bikes, and motorized vehicles on the sidewalk or the street that's not registered.
Including the bike path also as well, right? Yeah, I see that every once in a while. I see somebody go motoring by me real fast on the bike path, and I thought I was fast, but then I realized they have a motor, so happens. So, all right, let's move on.
Next two, Mayor, you have two residents that are concerned about the pool closings. What will the kids do all summer?
Well, first off, Mark, you here? Hey, what's up? Got a microphone. We got a report that came back. We've known for a long time that our pools are underattended. They are. Let's put it in perspective. 951 different people visited our pools last year. All 4 of them. 951 all year. All right? Over 7,000 kids visited our splash pad last year. Splash pad is way less staffing requirements. Splash pad is easy to run as compared to a pool. Splash pad, you can't drown. Basically, it's really hard. I mean, so 7 times the number of people went into our splash pad that went into our pools last year, and we lost more money in our pools every year than we lose in the Festival of the Lakes. Over a couple $100,000 a year. So it's a losing proposition having a single pool. Most communities, if they have a pool, they have a single pool. Hammond had 4, and they were 3 of the 4 were built in 1954. The newest one is MLK, was built in 1974, I believe. That's the newest pool. They leak, they're unsafe, they're not ADA compliant. Quite frankly, there's millions of dollars in repairs that we would have to undertake just to make them compliant with the law now, if we wanted to open them. We hired a consultant to take a look at our pools and say, how much would it cost to be legally compliant now? And then what would we have to do over the next couple of years to make sure that we were still moving forward and it was safe and it was nice, it didn't look like it does now? Mark, what was the number just to keep the pools open now? The status quo.
It's over $5 million.
Now that we'd have to come up with, to keep the 4 public pools open now, we'd have to come up with over $5 million.
Without any additional amenities, just opening the existing, what was already out there.
Right. So if we spent the $5 million now, would that mean that we're going to get extra people coming to our pools? Or are we still going to have 7 times more people showing up to our splash pads than show up to our pools? And quite frankly, if people like splash pad more than pools, which is apparent, we have 4 times the number of pools as splash pads and 7 times the number of people going to the splash pad. So maybe we should think about splash pads as opposed to pools and things that take the pool's place. The pools people aren't going to them. That's the bottom line. I'm not saying nobody goes to them, but we have 81,000 people that live in our city, and 1 out of 81 went to our pools, and we have 4 of them. So, yes, ma'am.
First of all, I'd like to know how do you swim in a splash pad? These pools were built back in the 70s, back in the 50s.
Yes.
And nobody, not one administration has never thought to repair any of them. You've been in office for 14 years. We could have had 1 pool repaired every 3 years. Instead, we waited 50-some years and said, oh, we gotta close them all and let the kids go play in the splash pad. How to swim in the splash pad? Myself, my daughter, my grandson, his grandfather, we all go to the pool to swim. We don't want to sit around the splash pad. You know, every time you turn around, the beaches are closed for some kind of contamination. And, you know, my thinking is, okay, in the past 14 years, why is everybody knew these pools were deteriorating and nothing was ever done about it? Now it's an emergency situation.
No, it's not an emergency, man. No, it's not an emergency. Quite frankly, I don't really believe that people go to public pools anymore. We're not the only ones that have shut them down. I really, look at Wicker Park. I remember when I was a kid, people went to Wicker Park. That was shut down 2 decades ago. I mean, I don't think people go to public pools as much as they used to, ma'am. In 1954, we didn't have central air conditioning. In 1954, we didn't have above ground pools. In 1954, we went to drive-in movie theaters in 1954. People don't do that anymore. Things change. You know, quite frankly, I don't think it's worth the money, personally. If the council overrides me on that, that's their prerogative. I can tell you where I'm coming from. I think people have shown us through their actions they'd rather go to a splash pad or something like that. We've had those pools open every year I've been mayor, and every year it's woeful attendance. usually more staff on staff than the people that actually show up. And we're losing money hand over fist. So like, I'll be honest, why hasn't it happened for the last 14 years? We've always known it's going to be millions of dollars, and I would not spend millions of dollars on a public pool. I don't think people want to do it anymore. And we do have the Civic Center pool, which is our 5th public pool.
Several years ago, Pulaski Park was completely renovated.
Yes, ma'am.
With a new patio around the pool and wrought iron fences and a brand new playground and everything. And the pool was closed for quite a while. Why weren't any repairs done then? Why are they closing Pulaski Park? I mean, it looks fantastic. In fact, a reporter
It's unsafe.
was out there several weeks ago said this is a gorgeous park and they're going to close this pool. And we go to Pulaski Park pool all the time and there's plenty of people there. And it'd be a shame to close it and tell kids, well, you just got no place to swim anymore.
All right, do me a favor. If you're in this room right now, let's do a poll. Okay, let's all be honest. How many people in this room went to a Hammond Public Pool last year? Please raise your hand. Okay? All right, so this is a heavy room. I mean, 1 out of 81 typically went to the Hammond Public Pools last year. Quite frankly, when this went down, ma'am, I got 6 complaints in City Hall. Where's the last time? Is that still the number? We had one person send us multiple complaints. We counted that as 1. If one person sends us multiple complaints, we count that as 1. We were on the Chicago News. We got 6 complaints. I'm not going to spend $5 million on something that people aren't complaining about. Great, ma'am. We know when people are upset. City Hall is a barometer of how people feel. They let us know. If we're messing up, I know about it. We were ready. When we shut down the pools and we made the decision, there was very little negative reaction. Okay. Yes, ma'am. Is this about pools also? Okay, good. Thank you. Sure. Thank you.
I hear you advertising the splash pad, but can you tell me with the single parents and the children that has to go all the way to Whiting? And then I'm looking at the recreation lineup, and schools don't go back into, we don't go back to school until August, and recreation is only open until July 14th. And now they want the children the parents to pay for the children to go to recreation sites this summer.
Yeah.
So, with me being in the community most of the time, I just can't see a lot of parents having to pay for their child to go to recreation. And then the dates are so far apart from when the kids go back to school. What are the children going to do this summer, really? The pool's closed, you have to go all the way to Whiting, travel all the way to Whiting for you to have some kind of...
All the way to Whiting, I do that. It's like 3 miles from where we are right now. Maybe 3 miles.
But most of the children that go to these recreation sites are within the community.
Well, ma'am, I mean, okay.
They're close. They're not always like 3 miles away from here.
Okay. Mark, want to talk about recreation programs?
Sure. The summer recreation program numbers have consistently been dropping historically at all of our sites, and they are getting down. We're condensing sites, trying to keep that program alive with decent numbers at each particular site. So what we have there is what we send out to the schools is to try to get the kids across the community, the 10,000 plus students within the city, to come out and come to that program. And our numbers are very minimal at all of those particular sites. And that's continued that way for a number of years, to the point where we formerly used to have a program, a similar program, the winter recreation program. That one's been done away with because the numbers just, no one was coming any longer. The numbers at all the schools there had dropped down. We had our last year, 2 years ago, at Gene Shepherd Community Center, and there was days where we had 2 kids showing up. And for us to justify to have a recreation leader there for 2 children is not an efficient use of our tax dollars that we have for those types of programs. So that is something that we're working on. There are other opportunities. A lot of the churches in the community are doing things. The Boys and Girls Club has offerings. The YMCA has summer offerings. There's a lot of different activities that we have. There's a lot of recreation that's going on through the golf course, through Wolf Lake. We have tennis lessons recently that we announced over at Darling Park. So there are some other opportunities that are continuing, and we want to look to continue to offer those types of activities. We've made additional steps through our facilities, trying to update some of them at the Civic Center, trying to update the things at Gene Shepherd Center so we can bring people in and continue to offer more additional programs in the near future. Whether that be this summer, we're going to continue to grow each and every summer as we move on.
So let me ask this question. Is there a price? How much is it to go to the splash pad when you go for the kids? Is it very costly or is it minimal cost?
Very, very affordable with the splash pad. Hammond Residential, $2.
Monday through Friday, we have an hour and 45-minute sessions, we run a session, so you'll appreciate it. So if you come Monday through Friday, it's $1 per child if you're a Hammond resident. If you come on the weekend, it's $2. So you pay for your hour and 45 minutes, you bring your kids, you get them for free, lay around, get a tan, while you get splash in the water. We have a concession stand there, open concession stands, you can do your lunch there, and it's 45 hour, 45 minutes. Everybody exits, and if you want to come back in, pay another $1 per child on the weekday. Like I said, it's $2 per child on the weekend.
Okay, so where do like I have teenagers in my home. I have no teenagers that are interested in the splash pad. I myself have a large family, but I make sure every summer that I plan where we go to Wisconsin Dale, or either we go to South Carolina, to Myrtle Beach, when we attend these big water parks. That money is something that Hammond can use. That same $1,000, $1,400 I spend for my family just to go 2-3 hours at a time is something that I can give to my home city. Why can't the pool be open and there's a charge? If you're a resident, $5 per person, where it's not just a pool, but it's a whole experience.
So you're saying like if we created,
The children that are here.
so you're saying like we create one master pool instead of having 4 underperforming pools, maybe we have one like a Munster type of pool, is what you're saying, right? Yeah. Oh, ma'am, if we charge people what it actually costs to run our pool, it'd be like $100 a visit per person, okay? So like we're not going to break even. Nobody makes money on pools, okay? That's why they go out of business. And a lot of people in here are talking about how $1 is too much and we shouldn't charge for this and that. You're in the wrong state. Honestly, Indiana doesn't care. They cut my budget $20 million since I've been mayor. The budget probably a lot of people in this room voted for the tax caps that have crippled us. Indiana doesn't give enough money to the cities, and they force us to make tough decisions in services that aren't being utilized. Like if I have a $5.5 million bill just to maintain the status quo and 1 out of every 81 citizens are using it, I don't think that's effective use of money. And I have to make decisions like that. And it's been proven, by the way. We made this decision a month ago and we have 6 complaints. This is the most I've heard about it since we made this decision. And I'll be honest with you, I think it's the right decision. I stand by it. I have to make tough decisions on how to use money, and I think this is a no-brainer, personally. And it's been proven through attendance. 950 people in 4 pools. That's 250 people over an entire summer per pool. 250. It's crazy low. To spend hundreds of thousands of dollars every year losing money on that, and for us to have to spend $5.5 million to upgrade them, it's a waste of money in my opinion. I hate to say it. So, I mean, if we have a philosophical disagreement. Yeah, in the back. High school pools are shut down too, Alberto.
Yeah, but there's other cities that provide 1 day or 2 days a week. Maybe, try to...
The only pool I think Hammond has in high school right now is Gavitt. Is that true? Clark has one also? In the school? Morton's pool's working right now? No, Morton had to go to Bishop Knoll to practice for a while. Right? Right. So, anyway. Any other questions on pools? Yeah, in the back, ma'am.
Why was nothing done all these years, and then this year you closed all 4 pools all at once? In 14 years, you could have done 1 pool every 3 years.
Ma'am, I would have never done that. I would have never done that. I have a philosophical disagreement with you on this.
I mean, it just doesn't make any sense that it waited all this time and the heads of the Parks Department, all of these years did nothing about it. And
Ma'am,
all of a sudden,
Hammond has some of the
they
nicest
say
park.
we're closing them off.
We're closing them because they're dangerous.
It just doesn't make any sense.
It makes sense to me.
Waiting to the last minute.
It makes sense to me. It does. We have to prioritize where we spend money. This is a low performing where we spend money. Very low, by the way.
I mean, we had all our libraries closed except one. Now we got all the pools closed.
Are you blaming me for
What's
that?
next? Well, what are these kids gonna have left? They can only stay at the libraries and schools for so long. Where can they go to swim? There's no place to swim now anymore. So they spend all summer long looking for something to do. What, getting in trouble?
All right. Yes, ma'am.
Okay, for the kids over here in this area, East Hampton area, how are they supposed to get all the way to Whiting? I mean, you know, parents work, some do.
Mhm.
They do work. And the kids, they play from 9 o'clock, 10 o'clock, up until 5 or 6 o'clock. How are these kids gonna leave this side of Hammond and get all the way over here to Whiting?
Bike?
To be able to play on this splash pad, whatever. I mean,
A bike?
is there gonna be some type of transportation set up so that they can maybe catch the bus from here?
There's no bus service in Northwest Indiana, ma'am. There's no bus service in Northwest Indiana. You know what? I live right by Purdue Cal, and I ride to Whiting 3 or 4 times a week. It's easy. I can get from my house to Whiting in like 25 minutes. Well, anyway.
So how are kids, I mean, are we gonna feel safe with our kids going down Calumet Avenue? I mean, really, how do you get to Whiting?
So,
How can they get to Whiting riding
well,
their
7,000 people do. All right. Anyway, I'll be honest with you. I'm going to make this clear. I think we made the right decision. I realize that there's some people in here that don't agree with me. I think we made the right decision. I stand by it. I really think that it would be a waste of $5.5 million to spend it on 4 new pools. We'd be one of the only cities in Indiana with 4 public pools. I bet you Indianapolis doesn't have 4 public pools. It's too many. It's when we fix them and they're up and running, nobody goes to them. You got to make tough decisions. I made it, and I got to live with it. So, I mean, we could keep on complaining about it, or you could just say, I don't like Mayor McDermott, I'm voting against him. You have that option, okay? But I made this decision. It was the right decision, too, and I will live with the repercussions. I'm fine with that.
If you raise taxes, they're not gonna be happy either.
I don't raise taxes. Yeah, we've, every year I've turned in a lower tax rate than the previous year. So, you gotta prioritize, ma'am? About pools?
Residence is 1439 Sherman.
Mhm.
Like I stated earlier, there's a vacant lot next to me, whoever the prior owner was, and where it is currently. They cut the grass, you know, either bi-weekly or once every 3 weeks. I don't know if it's a city cutting or even the owner. But there is huge shrubbery that takes up at least 25% of my yard.
Good
I've
microphone.
called several times over and over again to have this cut down, removed.
Yes, ma'am. Hold on. This is the head of Hammond Code Enforcement. He deals with a lot of these issues right now, the cut and clean issues. But it stems from a deadbeat that leaves their house and they don't care what the repercussions are. We have to follow it up and get them ourselves. So, Jaime, could you?
Yeah, we are aware there are lots, a few lots on Sherman that I am aware of that still need to be cut. We'll look into the lot that you're talking about. I have 1439 Sherman. What we're doing, we have our cut and cleans. So a lot of the empty lots that you guys see around, you're going to see a lot of grass. Hopefully, some of them have been cut. The list is still out there, so there's still a lot of lots that are going to be cut here within the next couple of weeks. I can tell you this: in the 2nd district alone, there's close to 200 open lots. Close to 200 open lots that we have to take care of, and we have to share amongst 5 vendors for grass cutting. So we will look into that lot, and as far as cutting some of the shrubbery and getting that taken care of.
Okay, what would I speak to make sure, you know, to keep like in contact?
Yeah, you can talk to me after the meeting. I'm right over here, and I can give you contact information.
Once we have the information for that home, it's on a list. It's always this time of year when we realize that House A is not getting cut, we have to go to court, get permission to cut House A, so that you don't have to live next door to House A. And in the meantime, usually the grass is growing. Once the judge gives us permission to go on that property, we cut it, and it's on a schedule. So once we get the first cut, it'll be like that the rest of the summer.
Every 3 weeks, the
Okay.
cut will be cut, 3 to 4 weeks. Right.
Yes, ma'am. And ultimately, it's the responsibility of the deadbeat landlord that took off, or the deadbeat homeowner that took off, you know, and we have to follow up and do our job afterwards, so.
Okay, so if the owner is now becoming an irresponsible owner, how is it that now someone else who's interested, like you said, there's 200 empty lots. On Sherman Street, 1400 block alone, I think there's roughly about 3. We want to make use of those empty lots. I know the one next door to me, I wouldn't mind turning into a little small basketball court for all the boys to play. I have a little small court in my backyard, and about 4 or 5 of the kids come every single day, faithfully to come play in my backyard. I allow them to do
Good.
that. So why
Appreciate it.
can't I purchase that land?
Well, if it's owned by us, you could approach us with information like that. It has to be owned by us. Sometimes it's owned by somebody else. We're just cutting it because we don't want you to live next to a jungle. So we cut it ourselves, and we bill the landlord, or when the land is actually sold, it's liened. And when it's sold, we get our money back. We don't own that land. We're just doing it so that you don't have to live next to a nuisance. We don't own
You
it.
bring up a good point. If you really do want to purchase that, and that's great for us and great for you, like you said, in terms that Lake County has all that information. Okay? Majority of the lots, the city of Hammond doesn't know. We just have to maintain them, like as the mayor said, because you don't want to live next to that. We don't want our city to look like that. So, Lake County will have that information if it can be sold at tax sale or whatnot, so.
Okay, thank you.
I can. To piggy off back that, sir, if she wouldn't have the money to purchase it like I do, and that's across the street from me, can we do something for the kids there, since there's, I mean, it's grass, why not just take all that grass out? Put in, I wouldn't mind putting in a garden for the kids to play. I got this one here. I don't know how many kids I would love to teach them how to plant. That's a vacant lot. Let's use it to teach these kids horticulture.
Okay.
Doesn't have to be a park necessarily. You can take each lot and have someone adopt that lot. I know I would be willing, as she would, to adopt that lot.
It would have to be owned by us, and we could talk about it.
Down the street from me that all of them hang out at. And I would love to adopt that lot and do something nice for these kids.
Okay, thanks, ma'am.
So, sir, I would love to see you whenever you get a chance at 14.
Councilman.
The problem is with the lot is that the city doesn't want to be able to go over
Right.
and start renting it. The issue I have with the vacant lots in my district is that there are trees that are sitting there because the lots, and then the trees sit there. I wish they would lean the people whoever owns the property, lean them and cut the trees and get rid of the trees, the dead trees. That's the issue. That's the main issue.
Okay, thanks, Councilman. In the back, gentleman had a question. Hi.
I did my research and I know some are empty lots on the 5900 block of Willis, and some on the 5900 block of Birch Avenue are owned by the city of Hammond. So where can I go and buy them? Or
Phil, could you go ahead and jump in here? They're probably owned by redevelopment. Phil's the head of redevelopment.
If the property is owned by the city of Hammond or by redevelopment, once we know that there's interest in one of the adjacent property owners to purchase it, we then have to order 2 appraisals, get the average of 2 appraisals, and then publicly offer it to everyone. At that point, you could make a bid or put a submission in for that property, and if you're the winning bidder, then you could take ownership of that property. But we don't go through the process of getting the appraisals to do that unless we know somebody is seriously interested in purchasing the lot, because a residential appraisal right now could run anywhere around $500 per appraisal. So if there is a lot next to your property that you're interested in, please let myself know after the meeting, and we will start that process for you.
Yes, sir. Go ahead. Thank you. All right, Donna.
Hey, Mayor, speaking for the seniors of the neighborhood, they can't call for themselves. My mother is 84 years old, and there are others who can't speak for themselves. We need someone to look after them. Some of their family members don't live in the area. I think that someone should ask them what they need. They may not be able to have anyone to cut the grass or do handiwork.
Okay.
My mother's 84 years old, and sometimes you need to find out what is going on with them before you make a judgment. And
Ma'am?
I know that every lawnmower we have has been stolen, every snow blower we have has been stolen, every shovel, if you leave it outside, it gets stolen. So, so sometimes the grass, how many lawnmowers can you buy?
Right.
How many things? I know I one time had to have somebody cut it for me.
Right. I can tell you, ma'am, that code enforcement, I know for a fact, we always communicate. We don't just like show up and give you a citation, okay? We would communicate, and a lot of times it's a senior citizen that can't do it themselves, and we try to accommodate them, we try to help them out. We hope maybe a family member can come over, but believe me, typically it's not a senior citizen that can't mow their lawn. Typically it's some landlord that doesn't care, or it's somebody that lost their property and they don't care. That's the typical. I mean, is that true? Right, ma'am.
Yeah, as far as some of these properties go, if the property, if someone's living in this house and, it's not being kept up, as the mayor said again, a lot of it are renters. Not that renters are bad or anything, but sometimes in the lease, it's probably not describing that they should keep it up, where the owners live in California and New York and they don't care what's going on over here. The way we deal with that, we don't automatically give a citation, okay? Usually, for the most part, we start off with a phone call, whatever phone number we have on file. We try to give that person who's living in the house a call. If that doesn't work, we have a green tag. I'm sure some of you have seen these on empty properties. That lets them know, hey, we're aware of this, you need to cut your grass, you need to maintain your property, whatnot. That's 10 days, okay? We give it 10 days. After that 10 days is up, we go back, check it out. If nothing has changed, then we send a citation. Okay, so that's how we deal with enforcing stuff.
I want to point out, somebody just reminded me that, besides the Civic Center pool, indoor pool, we also have another indoor pool in Hammond. It's the YMCA pool, and you have to have a membership there, but I know they're very cost affordable as well. So, okay, anyway. I don't want to open that can of worms again, but I should have just shut up. I'm never ever going to talk about pools again, I promise. So, Donna.
Sir, the State Department of Transportation has been contacted about overgrown trees and weeds on Columbia Avenue overpass and 8094 with no response for at least 3 years. What can be done?
Columbia Avenue overpass and 8094. Oh, you mean the trees on the east side? Good news. No, it's good news. This is a problem, I agree. I know exactly what you're talking about. When you're going right past the gas station, you go over the bridge, it's like foliage everywhere on the east side of the bridge, right? Yeah, the east side of the bridge. We are about to acquire that entire area. And I know that, Marty, could you talk a little bit about the catch basin project over there and how it's going to end up being basically a clear area, right?
Yeah, that whole area, the west side of Linden, the Hammond Sanitary District is acquiring all those properties on the west side for a retention pond for stormwater. You're going to see a whole major transition of that corridor. All those trees, we may look at also on the west side of the bridge also,
nice.
So that we make that look continuous. So that we just don't do the one side there. So a part of our plan is, as we're doing the acquisition of those homes, our whole plan, once all those homes are acquired, is to lay out what it's going to look like, and we'll be able to present that to you.
Thanks, Marty. All right, next.
How many homes do they have left to get?
We're only taking the west side properties over there. But do you know what the update on that is? I know Kevin, Chris, you're working that project too, right? The Linden, the west side of Linden. How many properties have we sent out notices on?
They're actually doing it through the sanitary district.
Okay, I didn't know if you were part of that or not.
But there's probably about a dozen properties coming down, and they're slowly coming down. There's also one on the
including the gas station.
Including the gas station, the two big apartment complexes.
The apartment complex, literally fronting 175th.
Right, 175th and Linden, some of those have already come down, the rest are boarded up, and I've had the power cut by NIPSCO. There's also one on the east side, which is just down under Devonshire Road.
Okay. There you go, sir. We're moving. on that. Thank you. All right, Donna.
Hey, Mayor, what are your thoughts or ideas on the new city high school? We need a lot more information on the plan.
I agree. You need a lot more information on that. I was telling you earlier, my job stops at the Hammond-Munster border. The school city is an independent entity, and quite frankly, they made it clear over the years that they want Mayor McDermott to have no influence whatsoever. When I first took over as mayor, there was nothing but criticism, and Mayor McDermott wants to take over the school city and stay out. I'm fine with that. Now I have a great relationship with the school city. I show up to schools all the time. I talk to the kids. I take pictures with the kids. I have fun. I walk out. I don't talk about teachers. I don't talk about schools. I don't talk about boundaries. I don't talk about busing. I'm the mayor. I got enough problems on my plate, obviously. Okay? So I don't need to open a can of worms that I have no influence over. I don't. I think if the school city had me on board, it'd be a lot easier for them, but they're not going to, because this is their job, not my job. My job is hard enough, obviously. I don't need to open a can of worms that I have no influence over. So,
Mayor, last night they said you were
people talk about me and for me all the time, Councilman Higgs. It happens all the time. I've heard a lot of things about Mayor McDermott. At one time, supposedly I was dating my fire chief. I've heard that over the times also. Not Smitty, Dave Hand. That was in the old days. So, I've heard a lot of things about Mayor McDermott until you hear it come out of my mouth, then believe it. But do I think that Hammond needs fewer high schools? Yes. Do I think that Hammond needs a new high school? Yes. I do. I think they do. 1919, Hammond High School was built in. Would we be willing to use Harrison Park to help them? Yes. Do I think they're going to get this passed? I don't know. I doubt it. It's going to be hard. They got a lot of angry Gavitt people. Their high school is going to be eliminated. There's a lot of angry people, and this is their job. And there's 5 members of the school board, and it's their job to push this. It's not Mayor McDermott's or the city council's. I got enough problems. I'm not going to open up a can of worms I have nothing to do with. So that's straight from the mayor's mouth, Councilman Higgs. But I do think fewer high schools is badly needed, and I do think it's a travesty that we're sending kids to a school that was built in 1919. So
100 years old.
yeah. Today? Wow. 100 years old today? It was 17? I thought it was 1919. I was just there yesterday. And by the way, Hammond's a great school. I go to Hammond High all the time. I was just there yesterday, talking to the kids. Love Hammond High. Kids are great. Principal's great. I have no problem. I like my role at the schools. My role is fun. I get to go to schools and talk to students. That's as good as it gets for me. You want to talk about the politics of the school city? I'm the wrong guy to talk to, because I got enough problems to worry about. I don't need to start new ones. Yes, ma'am.
I used to walk from Hammond High to the south side of the expressway.
Mm-hmm.
To and from school.
Yeah.
And these kids can't even walk to a splash pad.
Hammond, you know what's funny about Hammond? Uh-oh. We did not talk about splash pads or pools. I want to make that clear. I want to point out something I never realized until I started riding my bike. Hammond is not a very big city. You could get around Hammond pretty quick. I could get from my house to City Hall in probably 10 minutes on my bike and 6 or 7 minutes in my car. I mean, Hammond's a small city, especially on the bike path, because the bike path cuts right through and you don't have to deal with traffic. So, and I realize some kids aren't old enough to take the bike path by themselves. I get it. I wouldn't let my 11-year-old son on the bike path by himself go across town. I wouldn't let him do that. I have 4 kids, so I understand that. But I appreciate that point, because Hammond isn't really a big city geographically. Right. Yeah. So. All right, let's move on to the next question.
Hey, Mayor, is there any talk of closing the sanitation department?
Is there talk of closing the sanitation department? Was this put in by you, Marty?
I'm sorry?
Did you put this one in?
No.
Marty's the head of the sanitation department. Oh, I'm sorry, sanitary districts, my bad. Sanitation, I'm sorry, I'm so focused on pools. Is there talk of privatizing garbage? That's the question, right? No, there's no talk of that. There's no talk of privatizing garbage. Now, privatizing recycling, I think, was a huge success. All right? Nobody lost their jobs when we privatized recycling either. And our recycling rate in Hammond is way, way high. Way higher than it ever was. Probably because for a lot of people that have alleys, it's always out there. You don't have to worry about, oh my gosh, it's Tuesday morning, you're running out there in your underwear, pulling your things behind you, right? Now it's out there all the time. So our recycling rate's gone way high. We absorbed all the recycling workers into Public Works, and nobody lost their job. Has there been studies put together and lobbying pitches made to the mayor about, oh my gosh, we could save this much money if we privatize garbage? Those pitches have been made, and I've been consistent saying, no, we're not going to do it. I know these people. I know them well. They're 100% Hammond residents working in that department. They're good jobs, and they support Hammond families with those jobs. And, you know, by the way, we charge, it breaks even last I checked. Is that, Heather, is that pretty close? With what we charge is actually what it requires though, right? You know, when I first took over as mayor, we charged $5 a month. And then we did a calculation, and I was like, it actually costs $16 a month to pick up your garbage. And we only charge $5 a month. And at the time I was told, you can't raise that fee, Mayor. Why? Because you'll get voted out of office. But it actually costs $16. We're actually charging what it costs. Just leave it $5. And we'll play games with our accounting, and people will think it just costs $5. We raised it to $16. A couple years later, it took a while. We raised it to $16. Had a little backlash. But like we explained to people, this is what it costs. You want us to pick up your garbage, you want us to bring in Republic, guarantee it's going to be a heck of a lot more than what we charge. Because there's profit built into that. We don't make a profit off your garbage. You keep in mind, it costs us a lot of money to landfill your garbage. It costs us a lot of money to buy those trucks. Heck of a lot. Johnny, how much those trucks cost us?
160,000.
For a new garbage truck? 160. And how many garbage trucks do you have on the street every day?
Right now we have 13.
13 every day. So it's what? $2 million worth of garbage trucks. The gas that goes in the garbage trucks, the people that work on the garbage trucks. When we pick up your garbage, how much it costs to put that garbage into a landfill. So, has there been talk in the past? People have talked to me about it. Have I been consistently opposed to it? Absolutely. And I'm still the mayor, and I'm still consistently opposed to it. I like Hammond people picking up our garbage. If there's people behind us in the alley, I want to know who they are. So, anyway. Any other follow-ups on that? Sorry, Marty. We're not privatizing sanitary district either. Yes, ma'am. Let's do it.
Next up, Mayor, are there any future plans to develop the vacant land north of Summer Street in the area of Hump Road where the old paint and electric plants used to be?
That's a great question. Chris, you're probably going to have to jump in on this one about the litigation with the Glidden plant. But yeah, you know, when we brought in potash, you know, somebody mentioned earlier, the Summer Street was only done from the boulevard to Hump Road. That was using a potash increment, and we were hoping that potash would spur more development along this area. Phil or Africa, you guys might want to jump into this as well. What's going on with
Is there 1717 Summer, is that what we're talking about?
Yeah.
Okay. Currently, we've sent 4.5 and 4.6 notices for purposes of acquiring that tax sale. The tax sale date is in September. If the owner doesn't redeem, we'll have the deed for the property in probably January, realistically.
For the Glidden plant, right next to potash.
For 1717 Summer.
That's been years. We're in litigation on
Yes.
this, right?
Well, we were in litigation for demolition, but we decided to take a different tactic. So if we wound up getting on a tax sale, we just knock it down ourselves.
Okay.
But there is an issue with one of the properties. There's the brick building, which is closest to the street that looks like it's collapsing upon itself. But then there's another property which actually does have some environmental issues, so that would be a little bit more expensive to demolish.
Okay.
But eventually, one way or the other, something's going to happen at that location, because should he redeem, we'll just put it back in order to repair and demolish.
Now with potash, the company itself is a huge investment as far as like how much they spent to build the company. Not a lot of jobs though. We always knew that. It's very automated, right, Phil?
Yeah, there's not a lot of jobs in the actual potash facility, but a lot of the railroad companies hire a lot of people because potash built their $80 million facility and rail line through that area.
Right.
So the jobs were more ancillary than at the actual facility itself. But before potash was moving in, we actually looked at the S.A. Glidden property. Because as you drive by, we're always looking for industrial property in the city that can be made available. Because we have companies that call us all the time. They're looking for 10, 15, 20 acres available for an industrial project. So that's when we first started talking to the owner of the site. It's not been an easy process, and Chris and I have worked together over the years. So at this point, we're more focused on what we can gain through tax sale, as well as what properties we could potentially put on the demolition list and get them down get them down now. But at the same time, you have to have money in your budget to do that. And typically we use HUD for those type of projects, so it depends on the year, how much money we receive from HUD, whether or not we can actually, acquire and or demo properties at that site.
Okay, thank you. Yes, sir.
Mr. Mayor, I think it's a shame that we let Potash come in and build in the second district backyard and didn't have to hire someone in the second district. You and our backyard with all this company, and we don't get a job anywhere in the second district?
I would disagree with that completely. Potash hired a lot of Hammond companies to work on that project. Typically, Hammond companies are going to have Hammond residents that work for them. So we actually pushed that very hard from day one. And although I don't have the list right in front of me, and Potash is approximately 3 years old now, even though it was completed maybe a year and a half ago, many Hammond companies were hired for that project. So we pushed that hard. The facility itself, as the mayor said, only had about 5 employees at that site. So whether or not they were Hammond employees or not, I can't tell you which 5 were hired. But again, there were a lot of people on furlough that were working for IHB, CSX, Canadian Norfolk. So a lot of those people were taken off furlough and put back into full-time positions. So I would say that Hammond residents were affected in a positive way, and a lot of Hammond companies worked on that site. And now, just recently, Potash has announced that they are merging with another big company called Agrium, and it's going to become even bigger and potentially be an even bigger project going forward. So it's been very positive, and I think if you talk to a lot of Hammond business owners, you hear that from them.
But you're saying Hammond. I'm talking about second district right there where they are. They didn't hire any of those people.
Well, I can't tell you whether or not somebody specifically from the second district was hired. What I'm telling you is a lot of Hammond companies worked on it, and in my mind, when you're working with Hammond companies, a lot of the Hammond companies want to have Hammond residents working for them. They don't want people traveling from too far south to get to their facility. My guess would be that there were people in the second district that were affected positively by this project, but do I have it in front of me? I don't.
Have we ever had any type of agreement with the company that said you have to hire from the second district or the 5th district or the 3rd district?
You can't, that's discrimination.
Well, you're not saying it has to be a certain person, but I don't think we've ever done anything like that, nor am I interested in it, Paul. Because I'm not going to, so you have to hire from the second district. Well, this person's from the 4th. No, not that person. It's got to be from the 2nd. It's crazy. I'm the mayor of the whole city.
No, I wouldn't say no, you just got to hire. I mean, but
So anyway, that's usually how you drive business away, when you put unrealistic expectations on them. It's a private business. They're not going to be like, oh, Mayor McDermott said I had to hire 10 from the 2nd, so we got to find 10 people in the 2nd. It's just, they're going to say, forget him, and I'm going to go someplace else.
Mayor,
Anyway.
I was going to say, you're absolutely right. With issues with personnel, that is very tricky. You can run into a lot of legal issues with that. But what we do offer is that for companies that are coming to the city, we do strongly encourage for them to use Hammond or to hire Hammond residents, or at least give Hammond residents a reasonable opportunity to those jobs. We will also extend career fairs with them so that people in the community know that they have like a huge hiring demand. Now, the issue that we have with a lot of people is that because you cannot walk into their facility 24 hours, you may not see their entire workforce, but we do try to work with people so that Hammond residents are paired with jobs.
Anyway, Potash. Yes, ma'am.
Later on, depending on the child's
Do we have like jobs that we give to kids?
Correct.
All the time. We hire kids all the time. Every summer. Mark hires kids every summer, right?
We do a bunch of various locations for our concession stands, our ball field maintenance, the different complexes that we have across the city. Obviously, we do also tie into the college-bound kids that do volunteer requirements. There's many times where they do the volunteer requirements, and we hire them after that because they're fantastic workers for us. We want to, it's a great way to get them that experience that they're required for their scholarship. It also gives them experience towards what they're working on in the future for what they're studying, and then it gives them that first opportunity to go out to have good experiences from a part-time basis when they go to seek that first full-time job after they graduate college. So there are different opportunities that we do have, that we have in the Parks and Recreation Department. We're looking for a lot of times event staff, not only during the summer times, even throughout the year though. Events like the WWE, when that comes to Civic Center, we need a lot of employees that weekend. It's infrequent sometimes based upon the events that we have, but there are many events that we have that are going on there. We continue to try to add more, and we're always looking for part-time staff on that basis as well. So anyone who's interested in that side can come and fill out an application. I know part-time maintenance is ones that we're currently filling at the Civic Center as well as the Gene Shepherd Center, besides the ball field complexes out at Dowling Park, at our concession stands at Riverside, at Dowling, and I'm sure the Port Authority probably is doing some of those similar things as well.
Okay, let's go to the questions now. I'm going to go to the written questions. We're not going to get Mayor's Night Out done if we don't start focusing on the written questions. Marty?
I was just going to add
Thank
the
you.
sanitary district also hires part-time.
Thank you. Thank you, Marty. Yeah. Donna, let's go ahead.
Mayor, can we have someone take down the old phone booths that are scattered around the city, and then a license provider?
The what?
Phone booths, they're AT&T phone booths?
Yeah, why don't you submit them? Yeah, that's, yes.
They collect garbage.
Yeah.
I go buy beer cans,
Mhm.
beer bottles, and garbage in them. They look terrible.
Thank you. Submit that to me, would you?
Yeah.
Okay.
Just a comment here, Juan Serrano is an awesome employee, just want to say thank you to him.
Written by Mrs. Serrano. Mysteriously looks like Juan's writing now. But, thank you. I appreciate it. He's a great employee.
He's a great employee.
Yes, sir. I appreciate it.
Does a wonderful job.
That's why he's a supervisor. So, thank you.
Yeah, I confirm that Juan works really great. About anything you need, patching up the streets, picking up the garbage, just give him a call. He's there.
That's right. We need more employees like that.
Yes.
I think you'll find most, the supervisors, you guys deal with supervisors in a second, obviously. I think our supervisors are top notch across the city. That's why they're chosen, and that's why Juan was chosen. So, thank you. All right, next question.
Mayor, during last Mayor's Night Out, you mentioned the possibility of revisiting the ordinance regarding residents keeping chickens. Can you speak on the ordinance as it currently stands?
Yeah, let's open that one. We did bees already. That turned out great. So.
Well, we attempted.
Yeah. See, some guy. Is that you, by the way? It's that guy right there. It was you, right? He's the guy that started the whole bee saga.
It into bee civil war.
See, best of intentions. But by the way, bees aren't dead, I don't think.
No, it's intimidating to me. And then when the people who want you to be able to keep bees in your pocket and walk around with them. So, I mean, it was just, you got a bit heated.
But this shows you, during Mayor's Night, we hear great recommendations and we run with them. This gentleman brought up just last month, hey, we should do something about bees. And we're like, that's a great idea, sir. And we got into a humongous fight after that. So yeah, chickens, why not? Let's go, right? Personally, what's the ordinance on chickens right
There is
now?
no wild, because Hammond is an urban area, there is no wild, there's no farm animals allowed in the city.
My wife thinks that's a crazy rule. Okay, for the record, Circuit Judge of Lake County thinks that's a bad rule. She thinks that we should allow chickens. I've heard of vigilante chicken people in the city. They have chickens and they flaunt it and they put it on Facebook and stuff. And there's bee people too in the city. There's vigilantes, these people. I don't think I've never heard of a complaint about chickens. In fact, I have a friend of mine whose chicken was killed by a hawk or something like that, right? By a bee, right? But we have old ordinances that don't make a lot of sense, and we have some ordinances that need to be updated. So let's take a look at chickens. I mean, I have no problem with that. People have chickens.
The most recent action on the fowl was during the bird flu epidemic, and everybody thought that if anybody had a chicken or a duck, we were all going to die of bird flu, which, you know, obviously didn't happen.
She looks pretty healthy, and she's got chickens. So.
Yeah. But I don't know, let's see how the bees go. If we can actually sort out bees, we might move the chickens.
So I think this guy shows up twice in a row. He wants to see if he can get us on another journey right now.
Well, currently it's illegal to land a hot air balloon in a park, so maybe we could have a go at that.
Okay, but anyway, I appreciate you bringing that up. Just shows you that we do follow it up. Last I checked, it's in council committee. Councilwoman Vanessa, council president, do you want to say anything about that, or do you not want about the ordinance? Is it planning on coming out? Is it going to stay in committee? Do you know?
Well, it's my understanding that we're going to have further discussion in committee. It was the bee experts that had a problem with the language, so hopefully we'll be able to reach a happy medium.
See, the thing is, ordinance says you're not supposed to have bees. So we have a bunch of people show up to the council meeting and they say, I have bees and everything's great. We're like, you're breaking city ordinance and you're admitting it to the city council. So we need to update. People do have chickens, people do have bees. Yes. Oh, hey, Heather, what's up?
I had promised one of my employees that if you were going to look at chickens, that I'd ask you to look at goats as well, so I'm just gonna throw that out there. Make a happy office with myself.
And llamas, we'll just have like every animal is legal. So we have to take these one at a time. Right now we're focused on bees right now. Once we get through the bee ordinance that this gentleman put us on, then we'll talk about the chickens next, okay? Yeah, George?
Respecting the bees, is there any sort of harvesting for commercial purposes of honey, stuff like that?
Of what? Of honey?
Honey, yeah.
For political purposes?
Commercial.
Oh, I thought you said. I know one across the street from us. El Taco Real, they sell honey, and he has admitted in the past to having bees, possibly in the city limits. So, I mean, Ray gets his honey from somewhere. Hopefully it's in Highland or something. It's not in Hammond, but I'm just willfully ignorant when it comes to this, okay? But we have a problem because people are doing it, and our ordinance is out of date. This gentleman brought it up last mayor's night, and we're debating it as we speak. So, thank you for bringing it up.
I attended the last city council meeting.
Thank you.
And I also watched the video of you in attendance at the one prior.
Yeah.
So I'd like to say thank you.
Thank you. We were talking about you.
Yeah.
Yeah. And it was nice. It was nice. I talked about people show out to mayor's night. They want us to do things, and we try to get it done. So, well, and one way or another, we have to come to a resolution, though, because people do have bees, and we got to figure it out. I personally think it should be legal. I'm afraid of bees, too. Attorney Cantor did a ton of research on bees.
The ordinance that we wrote was based on the ordinances of several Indiana municipalities, including even a place in Louisiana. The problem is, some of the, as I said, it descended into the Civil War where people wanted no restrictions. I want to have 700 hives in my 25-foot lot. I want to be able to keep bees in the glove box of my car and drive around. It became to the point where the only regulation you desire is no regulation, which doesn't actually accommodate everybody in the city, just those with an interest in the bees. And so that's where it is right now. It's in committee because people who did speak about it want there to be zero regulations. And that's not going to work in an urban industrial city with 25-foot lots. And that's not how it's in the urban area.
Right. But thank you. I think there needs to be some type of resolution on this because sometimes things go in committee and they stay there. We're like, whew. Like we did a pit bull ordinance, remember that? I went in committee and it died in committee. We're like, never bring that thing out of committee, right? This is, I hope it doesn't go to committee and die there, right? And I urge the council, we need to get together and try to figure out some type of resolution, one way or another. So, yes, sir.
Just to follow up, is there any, I didn't get a chance to look at the proposed ordinance. Is there any insurance provision?
We didn't place an insurance provision in it, but we did require a fenced yard, a limit on the number, distances from occupied structures, registration with the state agency. There's a state agency that's responsible for horticulture and bees.
warning signs for people who may be subject to an allergy, trying to stay clear of the property. And there was at least one person who was against every single thing I just spoke about. So, like I said, it's in committee, we're trying to work on it, but there has to be some regulation, because if not, they're going to be with a rusty muffler full of bees, and they're going to say, oh, well, that's an AP area, it doesn't have to be the standard AP area, and it's going to get out of control. Like, right now, we have an ordinance that you can't grow crops in your front yard. The reason we had to have an ordinance is because somebody was doing it. So, I mean, that's just, you can't count on people to use their good judgment and common sense.
The reason I asked about the insurance is if we're commercializing the usage of bees or the keeping of bees, would a homeowner's insurance policy cover anything that happened where the bees were the cause? I don't think it would, but I'm just throwing it out there. For commercial usage.
Janet, Councilwoman?
I've contacted State Farm, Allstate, and MetLife Auto and Home, and the liability would cover fees.
All right. All right. Hey, you know what? I want to recognize the council people that are in attendance. First off, our council president, Janet Venez. Thank you very much for being here. Of course, the host councilman, Councilman Pete Torres. Thank you very much, Councilman. Councilman Anthony Higgs, Councilman of the 3rd District. Thank you very much, Councilman. Councilman Bill Emerson, the Councilman of the 4th District. And Councilman at Large, Robert Markovich. Thank you very much, Councilman. It's always nice to see council come to Mayor's Night Out. They don't get paid extra for being here. And it's really nice to see district council people not from this district show up. So I thank Councilman Higgs and Councilman Emerson for showing up as well. Because, you know, technically they don't even represent the 2nd and they're still here. So anyway, let's go on to the next question.
Mayor, the resident would like to know, are you open to receiving a small gift of gratitude from the resident for the support of the beat changing of the ordinance?
Thank you, sir. I appreciate it. Right here. Here, cheers. Thank you. All right. I'm going to report this on my campaign forums, so I appreciate it very much. It's nice. It was not made in Hammond, of course, so no. Thank you, sir. I appreciate it. All right.
Mayor, last item. Thank you for the disability and accessibility curve that you put in by Gavitt and the one by River Drive in Richmond.
We try. We try hard all the time. We get issues pointed out to us that, you know, and we have to be compliant with the Americans with Disability Act, and we want to be, you know, the type of city that welcomes everybody. And, you know, so I appreciate you bringing that up. It's nice. Any more questions? You guys want to talk about some pools more? I'm just kidding. I want to thank everybody. Yeah, Councilman Higgs. Who? I'm sorry. Oh, really? Oh, I didn't know that. Oh, that's sad. Thank you for bringing that up, Councilman Higgs. All right, I want to thank everybody for a lively Mayor's Night Out. We have anything else we want to mention up here? All right, thank you guys for coming to the 2nd District. Again, I want to thank the Irving Elementary School Principal, Renee Robinson. Have a nice day, everybody. Thank you.